On April 20th, 2010, the Deepwater Horizon disaster changed the lives of millions living near the Gulf of Mexico, as well as the scientists who responded to the crisis. These are some of their stories, intimate portraits of research, innovation, discovery. Welcome, I'm Jim McNamee, editor of Dispatches from the Gulf, a series of documentaries, short videos, and podcasts. Today's podcast focuses on science's role in society, especially when so many people are skeptical about things like climate change and global warming. Sean Powers, a professor and chair of the Department of Marine Sciences at the University of South Alabama, leads us off.
You know, I'm very concerned. Science has really changed over my career. The view of science by the public has really changed. When I was a beginning scientist in the mid-1980s, scientists were held in high regard. Their opinions were very valued. And people understood that while scientists couldn't give you necessarily absolute answers, that their opinion was unbiased and it was an objective opinion. And that's what I see going away, is people are questioning the objectivity of scientists. And that's really, really disturbing. I think it's used mainly by politicians as scapegoats to bring questions into facts that we know fairly well, like global change and global warming, that scientists have really no strong bias one way or the other. But the fascination with the science, I think, is going to be lost if people continue to question scientists and really vilify their opinion. We do have ethics. We are objective. And if you want to question that objectivity, that's fine. But for the most part, scientists are objective, and our opinions should be viewed in that manner.
Kait Frasier, a postdoctoral student at the Scripps Whale Acoustics Lab in San Diego, has another take.
I think that we're kind of, as a society, going through a time when we're trying to figure out who to believe and who to trust. And it's not just scientists who are faced with skepticism, it's politicians, it's business owners, it's everybody. I think we're just in a phase that we're trying to figure out who's reliable and who's providing accurate information.
John Hildebrand, a professor of oceanography also at Scripps, has some answers.
You want to make decisions from an informed viewpoint. You want to know what the truth is. You want to know, for instance, on the oil spill, what was the impact of the spill? So, and science plays a really important role in all of that. So I think you need to say science is sort of the basic thing that we can all agree these are the facts. These are the facts in terms of, the state of the ocean, the state of the ecosystem, and marine mammals in particular. What you do with those facts may be a political decision, but I think science is critical to making those decisions based on information on what is actually happening out in the ocean.
Margaret Leinen, the director of the Scripps Institution of Oceanography and the vice chancellor for marine sciences at the University of California, San Diego, takes it one step further.
Society's response to science and to scientists is complicated. We certainly hear some polls that say there are more people than ever that don't believe in science or don't believe scientists. But every poll that polls the American public for the relative amount of trust that they put in different groups of people places very high trust in science compared to many other occupations. So this means that scientists really have an obligation and a special role to play in providing a nonpartisan, neutral look at how our world works and what the impact of humans is on that world, and what the impact of nature is on that world. We're not economists, we're not politicians. It's not our job to make laws or to look at the best way to solve the problem through policy and law. But it is our job to comment on the consequences of different directions. So we can talk about what the likely outcome of that would be based on our knowledge of science.
Tamay Özgökmen, a professor of ocean sciences at the University of Miami, finishes with a little history.
We had 200 years of industrial revolution and polluting the environment over the course of the 200 years of production without any sensitivity to sustainability. But now the human population is essentially 8 billion. And out of 8 billion, only a fraction is living like Western conditions, high production. Everybody gets a lot of cars, the cars pollute the atmosphere. If you go down that route, you can choke yourself to death, thinking that you are actually becoming more modern and living better. That's not the case. So the next generation of the people have to know how to live in harmony with the environment. And in order to be able to do that, you need to know what's out there. You cannot just make these decisions based on ignorance. You have to know what is out there, what's in your environment, what is on planet Earth except human beings. And this is the fundamental thing. So we want to have the next generation of people to bring science into politics, business, industry, law, such that future generations can make better decisions on how to live on this planet. We don't have another option. There's only one planet Earth where there is life at the moment. So we need to solve this problem of ignorance, essentially. And we don't have decades to transform the new generation of people. So down the pipe, what I envision is there will be undergraduate programs, or this kind of knowledge will leak into the high schools and middle schools, where people actually put emphasis on living in harmony with the environment.
Today, thousands of scientists, oceanographers, chemists, engineers, biologists are all working together to develop newer and better ways to understand and ease the impact of oil spills. To learn more about their work, visit our webpage at dispatchesfromthegulf.com. Funding for this podcast was provided by a grant by the Gulf of Mexico Research Initiative. And thanks for listening.